نمیشیم که بچه اساس دیم. من نمیفهمم امروز دیگه بسیار زیاد ناراحت، حتی از بودن خود در دنیا دیگه پشیمان هستم. کاش هیچ نمی بودیم در دنیا، اصلا موجود نمیم. ما به اندازه یک حیوان در ملت ارزش نداریم. حیوانات خودشان میتونن سر به خود برن در راه خود ادامه بدن تا بخورن بنوشن. ما اجازه شمیدن نداریم.
And you don't seem to understand. A shame you seemed an honest man, and all the fears you hold so dear will turn to whisper in your ear. And you know what they say might hurt you, and you know that it means so much, and you don't even feel a thing.
But it's really something telling me to run away.
No, hey, love.
Before I die, I'd like to do something nice. Take my hand and I'll take it for a ride. You hit me yesterday because I made you cry. So before we die,
Why can't you be good for something?
This might be my most niche video of all time because I think the overlap between Jackass fans and feminist theory enthusiasts is relatively slim. I watched Jackass for the first time recently. It's obviously like a group of men doing disgusting things to themselves and to each other, and I loved it. I thought it was great. And it's obviously all men. In the most recent one, they put in like one woman, but it wasn't quite the same. And I think it's right that it's all men. Like Jackass, the Jackass series through a critical lens is about masculinity, and it's like about masculine bonds and masculine friendships, and that's part of what makes it so great. But I was thinking about it too much because that's what I do, and it literally hit me like a ton of bricks when I realized they could never do an all-female Jackass because it would just be porn. Everything they do, it would be pornographic if it was women doing it. It would be seen as fetish content. Drinking horse cum, funny when guys do it, porn when women do it. Getting their genitals like bitten by snakes or beat up or like mushed on each other, funny when guys do it, porn when girls do it. Beating each other up, wrestling snakes, being in extreme pain, just seeing women in extreme pain would be fetishized. This would be fetish content. Immediately, they could never do an all-female Jackass because people would watch it like Pornhub. That's basically it, but it just makes me very sad because I've always felt that women are never allowed to be funny in the same way that men are funny because of the circumstances of our subjugation. We're never allowed to be lighthearted in the same way that men are lighthearted. And it feels like such a fundamental freedom of masculinity that is talked about so little. Because it's so hard to put a finger on, like it's hard to say you are allowed to have more fun than we are. But I feel like it's kind of true.
Nice, that monstrosity.
I don't give a fuck. His name was...
So this video is absolutely no hate to her. I used to think the exact same way. I was the biggest advocate of that topic a couple years ago, unfortunately. I was going around being like, oh, women watch porn too, it should be normalized for everyone. I thought it was so empowering and liberating, and it's removing the stigma around women's sexuality, which there definitely is a stigma, but this is not the solution. That was until I actually did my research and realized how harmful porn is not only to individuals but our society as a whole. Then I started advocating that no one should watch porn. There's so many reasons why it can't even fit in one video, but I'm just gonna try to list a few. Number 1, it's scientifically addictive. Number 2, it promotes and normalizes violence against women. Minors, sexual slavery, and rape is extremely common in porn. It distorts perception of sexuality. It distorts perception of age. These are just the ones I thought off the top of my head, but there's so much more that I could make a separate video on. But anyways, thank you for watching.
Here's what the average Western male wants from a woman, according to Simone de Beauvoir, noted feminist writer. She says the average Western male wants a woman who yields to his domination and yet seems not to yield fully. In other words, that she will essentially push back. She will assert some level of autonomy and yet, in the end, yield to his every wish. Now, it's a really searing indictment, of course, of what men want, right? It's not just the exploitation and domination of women. It's the idea that many men, not trying to generalize, that many men don't just want a woman who is docile. They want to have a woman who seems not to be docile and yet always yields in the end. And that's what makes it so toxic, right? It's not just like a master-slave relationship. It's that the man wants the woman to be performatively strong and yet to yield in the end. That's what Simone de Beauvoir says is so toxic about the patriarchy.
Fucking shit! I didn't fucking do this! I'm not worried about it! I'm not worried about any of this! I'm done!
Yeah, hard pass. Hard pass. Hard pass. Hard pass.
Being born a woman is my awful tragedy. From the moment I was conceived, I was doomed to sprout breasts and ovaries rather than penis and scrotum, to have my whole circle of action, thought, and feeling rigidly circumscribed by my inescapable femininity. Yes, my consuming desire was to mingle with road crews, sailors, and soldiers, barroom regulars, to be a part of scene, anonymous, listening, recording. All is spoiled by the fact that I am a girl, a female always in danger of assault and battery. My consuming interest in men and their lives is often misconstrued as a desire to seduce them or as an invitation to intimacy. Yet God, I want to talk to everybody as deeply as I can. I want to be able to sleep in an open field, to travel west, to walk freely at night.
Too much labor, all day, every day, therapist.
She don't wanna leave me. Don't you give me up, please. Don't give up on me.
Tell them the illest, cause my dividends is the biggest. Bitches ain't sitting with us, so my niggas and Margiela's. It's pigs flying, it's these bitches trying me. They think it's sweet. How was I supposed to see the way?
This is why I am free to say it's all men. All men are attracted to teenagers? Come on. If a woman said that about other women, I would be furious. How aren't you guys mad?
Here's what I find so tragic about these young, pretty, conservative women. You're such a gaslighted demographic because one of the pillars of this ideology that you're bought into is that some people are just inherently superior and inferior people deserve to be exploited. And sure, women are technically property, but you don't have to worry about that because you are hot property. Exceptions will be made for you. So you're more than willing to play into this needlessly cruel game because you've been assured that you'll win. And soon the young winning man of your dreams will look at you and say, yes, that is what I'm supposed to want, and acquiring her will make me look like a superior man. And on your way to your superior life together, you will become his obedient, righteous, lonely, domestic servant. Congratulations. Until one day, you get a scary mammogram. And you discover that he never signed up to be a nursemaid. And unlike you, the young 24-year-old bleach blonde at the office understands that he's the most important person in any room. And she'll have no qualms about poaching your mate because he's her ticket to a superior life. And at that moment, when the handle has snapped off of the basket that held all of your eggs, you might realize that you were flattered into giving your entire life away in service of a man who only ever saw you as a commodity, because I assure you, that is how these men see you. And being hot property won't have protected you from a life of being used up and discarded. But here's the kicker. You'll have sunk so much of your life into proving your own politics right that you won't be able to direct that rage in the appropriate direction, because that will mean admitting that you were had. So there you'll be, a middle-aged woman with a pert haircut and great Botox, standing in line at a Kroger, making the fact that your life didn't turn out as promised into an assistant manager's problem, because don't they know that exceptions are supposed to be made for you. Good luck, babe. Good luck.
I wanna fight, but my hand's been broken one too many times.
So one predictor of whether a man will rape a woman is if he has a high level of hostile masculinity. In the book that I'm reading, the way that that's defined is men who endorse statements like, a lot of women seem to get pleasure out of putting men down, or in a dating relationship, a woman is largely out to take advantage of a man. Hostile men see themselves as victims who have been wronged by women, and thus they are perfectly happy to induce pain and suffering to get their revenge against women. Have you met anyone like this?